Hello GATE aspirants, welcome to ACE Engineering Academy and ACE Online. So we all know that recently IIT Madras have given GATE 2027 notification. There is a discussions are going on among the students group about the syllabus changes, and this particular session is clearly intended for computer science and engineering stream. So are we have really changes in the recent syllabus that is given by IIT Madras in computer science engineering or not? So if you go through this video, you will come to know those details very clearly. Okay. So by the way, this is Venkateswarlu, faculty at ACE Engineering Academy, computer science stream. I can handle both computer networks and operating system subjects for GATE aspirants. So what I can do here, I am going to give you the comparison between the GATE 2026 syllabus and GATE 2027 syllabus, and then you will come to know is there any changes or not. Okay, right. So first we can start with engineering mathematics subject, or else you can say discrete mathematics subjects, right? So if you see this discrete mathematics, we are having proportional proportional and first order logic, sets, relations, functions, partial orders and lattices, monoids, groups, and coming to graphs, connectivity, matching, coloring, and coming to combinatorics, counting is there, recurrence relations is there, generating functions is there. So this particular part is GATE 2027 syllabus, and this particular part is GATE 2026 syllabus. Okay, so in every slide we maintain the same. First part is 27, GATE 27 syllabus, and the second part is GATE 26 syllabus. Okay, so if you see this and this with respect to discrete mathematics, it is same. There is no changes in discrete mathematics. And coming to linear algebra, if you see, starts with the matrices, then determinants and system of linear equations, eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and LU decomposition. Same here also you can see the same kind of terms are there with respect to linear algebra. And coming to calculus, we are having limits, continuity and differentiability, maxima and minima, mean value theorem and integration. Same in calculus part we are having the same topics, right? So if you see that the probability and statistics, there is no change. Overall, what I can say, whatever the syllabus that we have in GATE 2026, the same syllabus is being given in GATE 2027 also, right, with respect to this mathematics and discrete mathematics part. Okay, so no changes. I can say there is no change with respect to discrete mathematics and engineering mathematics in both GATE 2026 and 2027. The same syllabus is being continued in 2027 also. Then coming to digital logic. So if you see digital logic here, we are having Boolean algebra, minimization, algebraic technique, K-maps, tabular method, design of combinational and sequential circuits, number representation and arithmetic, which is fixed and floating points. So same if you see here, we are having Boolean algebra, yes, we are having Boolean algebra and combinational and sequential circuits. But only thing is here, design of combinational and sequential circuit is been given. So here we need to highlight this design, okay? But here it is maybe speaking about basics or something, but this time it is emphasized on design of both combinational and sequential circuit. Maybe I can say this is the change, but apart from that, everything is same. And if you see the algebraic techniques, K-map and tabular methods, so those methods are also clearly emphasized here, but here it is not mentioned anything. So only small difference with respect to this digital logic is what I can feel. Design is being highlighted here, and here design is not highlighted. Maybe we are anyway in our ACE Engineering Academy, we cover design of combination and sequential circuits in our regular classes by our digital faculty, right? So means I can say this is the slight change. Apart from that, everything is being same. Okay, right? So digital logic syllabus with respect to GATE 2026 and GATE 2027 both are same. Okay, apart from this particular design element. Okay, right. Then coming to next subject, which is computer organization and architecture. This is what the syllabus that is given with respect to 2027, and this is 2026. So you can see that instruction set and addressing modes, design of arithmetic and logical unit, design of control unit, hardware and microprogrammed. Overall, if you see, Secondary storage is been clearly mentioned here, right? So secondary storage is clearly mentioned here, but in 2027, secondary storage is not mentioned here. In 2027, it is not mentioned secondary storage, okay? But there is a connection between this COA part and operating system part, you know that. So without coverage of this secondary storage, in operating systems, IO scheduling cannot be connected, right? Cannot be covered. So that's why what I can say, even though it is not given in secondary storage, even though it is not given in the COA, it's better to cover that secondary storage part in COA itself, so that it can be easy for operating system with respect to IO scheduling. Okay, so means we can feel that this is being removed, but it's better to cover this one also. It's better to cover. Okay, right. So because in operating system we are having that IO scheduling. That IO scheduling can be connected with this secondary storage. Okay, so if you know the secondary storage, then IO scheduling can be easy. So that's why I say that this is virtually may not be physically, but virtually it is part of the syllabus. But it's better to get an idea on secondary storage. Okay, right. So then coming to the next subject, which we are having, programming and data structures. Programming in C, if you see recursion and arrays, same here also you can have programming in C, recursion, and then arrays, stacks, queues, same kind of stuff is been there. So there is no change, absolutely 100% it is same as 2026. Okay, then coming to algorithms, if you see, in algorithms also you are having searching techniques, sorting techniques, hashing techniques, asymptoting, worst case, time complexity and space complexity, algorithm designing techniques such as greedy, dynamic, programming, divide and conquer, and graph traversals, minimum spanning tree, shortest paths, everything is same. There is no changes even in the algorithms also. Okay. Then coming to theory of computation, you can see that regular expressions and finite automata, context-free grammars, push-down automata, regular and context-free languages, pumping lemma, Turing machines, and undecidability. Same. This is also, there is no change with respect to TOC, which is theory of computation. Both GATE 2026 and 2027 syllabus is same with respect to this subject. Okay. Then coming to compiler design, lexical analysis, parsing, syntax dedicated translation, SDT, runtime environments, intermediate code generation, local optimization, data flow analysis, constant propagations, liveness analysis, common sub-expression elimination. So this is also same as it is content, right? There is no change in GATE 2026 and GATE 2027 with respect to this particular compiler design syllabus. Then operating systems, if you see, system calls, processes, threads, inter-process communication, concurrency, synchronization, deadlocks, CPU and IO scheduling, memory management, virtual memory, and file systems. So here also I can say there is no change with respect to GATE 2026 and 2027 operating system syllabus. Okay. Then coming to database management systems, ER models, relational model, relational algebra, tuple calculus, SQL, integrity constraints, normal forms, file organization, indexing. If you see that B and B plus trees, transaction and concurrency control, same syllabus. There is no change even in the DBMS subject with respect to GATE 2026 and 2027, right? Then if you see computer networks, people are having lot of discussion about this. See, I can say only there are two topics are being removed from this computer networks part. What are the two parts? Framing is clearly mentioned as part of GATE 2026 syllabus, but in 2027 syllabus, framing is being removed. Directly it started with error detection, like character stuffing, bit stuffing, character count, those techniques this time not part of the syllabus. And after that, here we are mentioning that Ethernet bridging in the sense, in our regular classes we used to cover something like what is the meaning of repeater, what is the meaning of switch, what is the meaning of hub, what is the meaning of bridge, this thing like connecting devices we used to cover, right? So but this time it is just limited to only Ethernet. It means LAN technologies. there is no that Ethernet bridging concept. So that's why this is also been, I can say, removed. Okay. Then routing protocols. Previously, we are having shortest path routing, flood routing, which are called static routing algorithms. But this time, there is no static routing algorithms. Straight away, it is mentioned only distance vector and link state, which means dynamic routing algorithms are being mentioned. So these are not part of the GATE 2027 syllabus. And then IPv4, you can see fragmentation, CIDR notation, network address translation, they're all been continued. And TCP, flow control and congestion control, socket API, DNS and HTTP. Here, if you see application layer protocols, the last content of GATE 2026 computer network syllabus, DNS, SMTP, HTTP, FTP, email, this has been reduced to only two protocols, that is DNS and HTTP. Only this and this, it is enough to focus comparatively SMTP, FTP and email. And mind that anyway these application layer protocols we used to cover as part of TCP IP reference model, correct? No? So it means if you feel it is been removed, I don't encourage that, right? Because it is already part of your TCP IP reference model. So that's why this is not a major change here. And here it is mentioned principles of layering, and here it is mentioned concept of layering. Even we are going to cover OSI reference model and TCP IP protocol, TCP IP reference model. Compulsory we need to cover it. Okay. So that is what another change that I can say. So simply terminology is being changed. Concept of layering, but here principles of layering. And we will be covering anyway OSI reference model and TCP IP reference model as part of that principle of layering. Then basics of switching, circuit, packet and virtual circuit. Even in previous one also we are having packet, circuit and virtual circuit switching. And extra we have, it is mentioned that performance metrics. This is anyway we are covering in our regular classes by mentioning a separate chapter, network performance parameters, like what is the meaning of throughput, what is the meaning of bandwidth, what is the meaning of efficiency, what is transmission time, what is propagation time, what is round trip time. We used to cover it, bandwidth, delay, product separately, correct? No? So, but this time it is explicitly mentioned. Explicitly it is mentioned here, performance metrics. Okay, and previously we are having only sockets, but here it is mentioned sockets API. Terminology is being changed, but in the sockets, if you see the TCP socket diagram and UDP socket diagram, we used to have some sockets. Those sockets functionality is enough to know, right? So that's what I can say. This is also not a major change. And as part of TCP, it is mentioned only TCP, but here we have UDP. This is been removed, but it is a small topic. But, compulsory, if you want to understand TCP, when we distinguish the TCP with the UDP, then you will come to know. Otherwise, you don't understand what exactly the TCP features, right? Why it is better, why it is not better. When we compare this with the UDP, then only we can come to know, which means obviously we will cover UDP, okay? So this is what the major changes, what I can say from CN. Framing is not going to be covered in 2027. Connecting devices is not going to be covered in 2027. But you may have a doubt that, sir, basics of IP support protocols is being removed. See, one thing, without knowing DHCP, how you can understand what is that private IP address, what is that public IP address, right? Because currently we are all having dynamical IP address allocation that is done by DHCP enabled router. So obviously we will be covering this and we should know. And ARP. So if you want to transfer the data from IP to IP, compulsory MAC to MAC data delivery should be happened. It means how you are converting your IP address into MAC address. So compulsory you should know, right? So that's why even ARP also we will be covering. And ICMP. Basically IP is unreliable. You can say that it is not doing any error correction and error detection. But within the IP, as we are having TCP packets and TCPs are reliable, then in order to fill the gap, because TCP is reliable and IP is unreliable, and TCP is getting encapsulated into IP, right? Then how it makes reliable service? By behavior, IP is unreliable. It means some error control mechanism is not done by this IP. But how it can do in the sense when we associate this ICMP with the IP, then IP can do. So which means how IP can handle that error control, if you want to understand, compulsory you should aware of this ICMP. Okay, so the line is being removed, but these are going to be playing vital role in understanding of IP address allocation and IP error recovery and how you are converting IP address into MAC address. So compulsory these basics should be known. So maybe it is not part of the syllabus, but compulsory we should aware of it. Okay, so this is what overall computer networks related discussion, whether there are changes or not having changes. So now if you see this is the table what we are suggesting exactly. There are only two subjects are having changes. One is COA, other one is computer networks, and remaining all are clearly mentioned that there is no changes. And here digital logic tabular method is being added, and apart from that there is no topic is being removed. But in CN what I can say, no added topic I can say, but removal is done, framing is being removed, connecting devices is being removed, and static routing algorithms are being removed. And CYI if you see, ALU and ALU design and control unit design are being little elaborated, but secondary storage is being removed. But anyway, secondary storage is vital to understand as part of operating system that IO scheduling. So compulsory it has to be covered either in OS or in COA. Compulsory it should be covered, somebody, right? Some faculty should cover it. So that's what the point here. So overall, this is what the summary of this particular session. So in which subject you are having changes, in which subject you are not having changes. So apart from that, I just want to give the future batches or else courses that are going to be announced or that are already announced by ACE Engineering Academy. Like there is a batch which we are announcing, foundation batch for target 2028. Whoever is been targeting the GATE 2028 examination, for them to cover the basics, we are announcing a batch with respect to all these streams, and that batch is been commencing from 5th August 2026 at Kottapet, and live classes are also being announced from 5th August 2026 on same day, both physical classrooms, physical offline classes and online classes. Foundation batch it is called. Okay, so the people who are targeting that 2028, for them this particular batch or this particular course can be helpful, very helpful. Next, these are the other batches we are having with respect to GATE 2027 and ESE 2027. This batch is already been announced, it is over, just ignore this batch. And remaining batches, please find. We are announcing, there is a batch is on 5th August and 24th August. And similarly, we are having classroom coaching. So previously, this is exclusive online live classes, but this is your classroom, offline classes. At Kottapet, you can have 20th July, this has been already been announced. Ignore this. But this one, 5th August is the new batch we are having, and 24th August also we are having new batch, right? So for these streams, we are having classes at Kottapet. For these streams, we are having classes at Abits. So these are the new batches announcement from ACE Engineering Academy. So, and next, we are having recorded sessions also. So if you want to prepare by watching through these pre-recorded videos, we are also having that separate course which is being taught by experienced faculty, and you are having an option to get clarity about your doubts, right? And we have used some 2D and 3D animations in our lectures, so you can go through those lectures, right? And there is a free online test series also being provided. So if you enrolled for this self-paced program, which is pre-recorded classes. So these are the various courses that are offered by ACE Engineering Academy. That's the session from my end. I hope this session is helpful to you, and I hope you can find the difference between the syllabus changes with respect to GATE 2026 and 2027, and mind that these are the changes with respect to computer science and engineering stream. Okay, thank you.